We call this the Bankrate Best States to Retire Index. We're taking a variety of publicly available data and stats and pumping them into this index. And then we rank states from 1 to 50 based on which are most attractive and least attractive for retirees. We used 5 factors that we think are important to people making this decision. Affordability is the most important factor, and then we also included wellness, crime, weather, and culture. Georgia was neck and neck with Florida, but Georgia moved into the top spot because of its affordability. So Georgia ranks number 3 overall on affordability, and that's definitely more affordable than Florida. And then Georgia also ranks very highly in weather. So Georgia has a smaller coastline and less exposure to hurricane risk. And Georgia doesn't tend to have as many tornadoes and earthquakes as other states. So Georgia did pretty well on weather. Georgia was towards the back of the pack in terms of culture, but it did so well in those other 2 categories that it ranked number 1 overall. We weighted the culture ranking as 15% of the overall scores. So one of the smaller factors. For this category, I just dove into the census data for each state and looked at things like the percentage of the population that's over 65. And so we rewarded a state for having a higher percentage of people of retirement age. And then we also looked at things like restaurants per capita and arts and entertainment establishments per capita. So those were the 3 main factors in the culture rank. And again, it's one of those, you might want to filter through your own lens. If you don't want to be around a lot of other retirees, maybe Florida's not the right place for you. If restaurants or museums aren't important to you, then maybe reverse the culture rankings. Tennessee was number 3 overall and number 1 in the affordability ranking. And then Tennessee did well in weather as well. Tennessee was at the back of the pack in terms of crime and wellness. Decision about where to retire and where to live is very personal. So it depends on things like where your family is, where your friends are, where your grandkids are, maybe where your healthcare providers are. So this is one thing to consider, but I wouldn't advise anyone to move based solely on these rankings. And I wouldn't expect anyone to move solely based on these rankings. But it is one thing to consider. Certainly the pandemic reintroduced mobility to American society. People hadn't been moving around the country as much over the previous couple decades. And now people again are examining where they live and where they want to live.
Invest in you. Ready, set, grow. CNBC and Acorns.